I still remember the sound of his laughter echoing through the old white porch of our farmhouse. The summer of 1962 feels like a dream now, a memory folded inside a photograph, yellowed with time. My name is Eleanor Grace, and I was once a girl who believed that love could fix anything. I believed in happy endings, in promises whispered under the stars, and in a man named William Hayes, the man I thought I'd grow old with. We met in a small diner on the edge of Charleston, where I worked behind the counter serving coffee and cherry pie to tired travellers. He wore a navy uniform, his hair neatly combed, his smile brighter than the morning sun. He asked for coffee, black, and when our eyes met, something shifted in me, as if the world had paused for a moment to let two souls recognize each other. For months, letters became our lifeline. Every envelope carried a piece of his world and a piece of my heart. He wrote from distant bases, promising he'd come back, that he'd build me a home where laughter would never fade. And I waited. I waited like the tide waits for the moon, quietly, faithfully, endlessly. When he finally returned, the town gathered for the parade. I stood there in a pale blue dress, my heart racing as he stepped off that train. When he smiled at me, I forgot every lonely night I had counted. He took my hands in his, and in that moment, I thought God had written our story himself. We married that fall, under the big oak tree behind my parents' farm. The wind was gentle, the leaves gold and orange, and his vows felt like poetry carved into my soul. "Forever," he said, as he kissed my forehead. "You'll never cry alone again." I believed him. Oh, how foolishly, beautifully I believed him. We bought a small house by the river, painted the walls cream, planted roses out front. Every morning I'd watch him shave while humming an old tune, and every evening he'd wrap his arms around me as we danced in the kitchen. Life felt safe, warm, like sunlight on a cold morning. I thought that was love, until the cracks began to show. It started with late nights. "Extra work," he'd say. The scent of unfamiliar perfume clung faintly to his jacket, but I ignored it. Love teaches you patience, and sometimes blindness too. Then came the silence, long, cold, heavy. He stopped laughing at my jokes, stopped asking how my day had been. His eyes, once full of affection, turned distant, searching for something I couldn't see. I asked him one night, my hands trembling, "Will, is there something wrong?" He smiled faintly and said, "You worry too much, Ellie." But worry was all I had left. One winter evening, a letter arrived. Not for me, for him. The handwriting was delicate, the perfume familiar. I shouldn't have opened it, but love had already made me a prisoner of curiosity. "I miss you," it said. "When will you tell her?" My world stopped spinning. The fire in the hearth hissed softly, as if it too pitied me. I waited for him to come home that night, the letter folded in my palm. He walked in, smelling of whiskey and rain, and when I showed it to him, his silence told me everything I didn't want to hear. He didn't deny it. He didn't even apologize. He just looked at me with those tired eyes and whispered, "I never meant to hurt you." And then he left. The door closed, and with it, so did the part of my heart that still believed in forever. Days turned into months, and the house grew colder without him. I tried to keep myself busy, baking pies, knitting scarves, talking to neighbors who pretended not to know the truth. But at night, when the world slept, I'd sit by the window and stare at the moon, wondering where he was, and if she loved him the way I did. Years passed, and time became both my friend and my enemy. I built a life out of broken pieces. I worked at the local school, taught children to read and dream. I learned to smile again, though my eyes never truly forgot how to cry. One day, after nearly 20 years, a knock came on my door. I opened it to find William standing there, older, thinner, his hair now grey. His eyes searched mine for forgiveness, but all I had left was silence. He told me the other woman had left him, that life hadn't been kind, that he'd thought of me every single day. He said he still loved me. I wanted to scream, to ask him why love comes too late, but instead, I just said, "You should go, Will." Some stories end, even when the heart refuses to accept it. After he left, I sat on the porch and watched the sunset, the same one we used to watch together. For the first time, I didn't cry. I realized something that day. Love doesn't always mean staying. Sometimes it means letting go of the one who broke you so you can finally heal. I forgave him quietly, not for his sake, but for mine. I needed peace more than I needed closure. Now, decades later, I sit here in this same house, grey-haired and wrinkled, with the ghosts of yesterday keeping me company. I still keep his old photograph on the mantel, not because I miss him, but because that girl I once was deserves to be remembered. Love, I've learned, isn't always a promise kept. Sometimes it's the strength to keep living after it's been broken. When people ask me if I ever stopped loving him, I smile and say, no. But I stopped waiting. The nights are quiet now. The fire burns low. The clock ticks softly. And sometimes, when the wind moves through the curtains, I swear I hear his voice whispering my name. I close my eyes, not in sadness, but in gratitude, for every tear, every memory, every lesson he unknowingly gave me. Because even betrayal, when looked at closely enough, can teach you how to love yourself. And so, if you ever fall in love, my dear, remember this. Love is not made of promises or forever. It's made of moments, and how you survive when they end.